Hi everyone, it's Emma, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this really pretty mini scarf. This is a really lovely accessory, it's not difficult to make and it's super quick too. You will need some yarn. I've used Drop Snod and I recommend using this or something similar. Definitely a similar way. If you use something that's thicker, it's going to affect the size of your finished scarf. So you want something that's 4-ply ideally. This would work really well with hand-dyed yarn. You don't need too much. You'll need about 35 grams of yarn in total. As you can see, I've used this 50-gram ball here to make this sample, and I've got quite a bit left. And you'll need a 3.5mm hook. So just bear in mind that if you do choose to use different yarn and a different hook, it's going to affect the finished size of your scarf. I also really recommend that for this pattern you use a row counter. This is the one that I use. It literally just keeps track of which row you're on. You can get these or similar ones from anywhere that sells yarn, craft shops and things, or Amazon. And you can also download free apps, or of course you can just use a pencil and paper, which works just the same way. Please note that I am in the UK and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. For this pattern, you're going to need to know how to work a UK double crochet, which is equivalent to a US single crochet. And you'll also need to know how to work a half treble crochet. And that's equivalent to a US half double crochet. But don't worry, I'm going to pop all of that information down into the description box below, along with the gauge and also a link to the written pattern that you can purchase if you wish. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to work up a really small version of this just to show you how the pattern works. So to set up, what we need to do is create a slip knot and pop that on our hook. And we're going to chain 3. And we're going to work a setup row. So this isn't part of the repeat, this is just to get us started. And in this pattern, in order to get these really nice, clean, straight edges, we're actually going to omit our turning chains at the start of each row, which sounds very counterintuitive, but you will soon get used to it. So what we're going to do instead, to make sure that our work doesn't curl up or anything, is make sure that the loop that we've got on the hook here is nice and big. So you don't want it to be really tight like this. You just want to raise the hook up ever so slightly, I'd say to around 1 centimetre, and that's going to give us enough space to stop the scarf from curling. And we're going to go straight into this first chain here and work a UK double crochet. Remember, that's equivalent to a US single. Into the next stitch, we're going to work a half treble crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to finish this setup row by working another double crochet into this final chain here. So to do that, we just insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through too, and that's our setup row completed. And you might have noticed when I was working into that starting chain there that I worked into the back bumps of the chain. That's actually my preferred method for working into the starting chain, and I will pop a link to a tutorial that explains that in greater depth if you want to take a look. So we're now going to begin our pattern repeat. So when you're continuing with this scarf and you want to go back and work more repeats, this is the point in the video that you need to come back to. So for row number 1, again, I just like to bring my hook up here ever so slightly. So we've got a nice big loop there of about 1 centimetre. We turn our work and we're going to begin with a double crochet again into this first stitch here. Remember, in the US, this counts as a single crochet. When we've worked that, we're going to work another double crochet, but this time we're going to go into the front loop only, and this is what creates this lovely horizontal detailing that we've got on the scarf here. So if I turn my work, so you're looking at it from the top, can you see this V here? This is the stitch, and normally what we would do is insert our hook underneath both loops like this. In this case, what we're going to do is insert our hook into the front loop only. So the front loop is the one that's closest to us. We're going to grab that yarn and pull through, and then grab the yarn again and pull through to work a double crochet. And then into this final stitch here, we're going to work a double crochet but through both loops, just like you would normally. And then just to help me keep track, I'm going to take my row counter and just give it a click, and that lets me know which row I've just completed. And this is going to help you keep track of the increases, because we're going to start at this end here and increase our way up to the center before decreasing again back down to the other side. So for row number 2, again, lift that loop up ever so slightly and turn your work. We're going to work a double crochet into the first stitch here, and then we're going to work a half treble crochet, which is equivalent to a US half double crochet, into this center stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook underneath both loops. We're going to work into the full stitch, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and then we're going to finish that row again with a double crochet into that final stitch. And I'm going to give that another click. So you'll notice that each row begins and ends with a double crochet. So I'm going to work through now. So for row number 3, we work a double crochet. This time we're going to go into the front loop again with another double crochet, and we're going to finish off with a double crochet into that final stitch. Give that a click. That's our 3rd row. For row number 4, we're actually on to another half treble row, so it's the same 2 rows, just alternating. So work a double crochet into that first stitch, a half treble into the center, and then finish with another double crochet into that last stitch there, and then give yourself another click. So we're going to repeat those last 2 rows again. So we're going to do a double crochet, a double crochet into the front loop only, and then another double crochet into that final stitch. For row number 6, we're going to work a half treble row. So we work 1 double crochet, a half treble into the center stitch. Remember to go underneath both loops, and then finish with a double crochet. And we've got 1 more repeat to go, but we're going to do something a little bit different on the very last row. So for row 7, we're on a double crochet row again. So we start working a double crochet under both loops. In that center stitch, we're going to work under the front loop only, and then we're going to finish with a double crochet underneath both loops. And we've got 1 more row to go, because it works on an 8-row pattern repeat, but this time we're going to increase. So we're going to start with a double crochet exactly the same as we have done before, and then instead of working 1 half treble crochet into the center stitch, we're actually going to increase by working 2 half treble crochets into the same space. So we'll work 1 stitch, and then going into the same space as before, we'll do another half treble crochet, and exactly the same, we'll finish off that row with a double crochet. So those rows 1 to 8 count as one repeat, and we've actually just worked one increase and we've gone from 3 stitches up to 4. So now I'm going to reset my counter back to 0 because we're going to work that full repeat once more. So you're just alternating rows of double crochets worked into the front loop with rows of half trebles, and then on each 8th row what you're going to do is work an increase. So every 8 rows you're going to be increasing by 1 stitch, but I'm going to work through that with you once more. So we're back on a row number 1 now. We're going to turn our work a double crochet into that first stitch, work a double crochet into the front loop of the next stitch, and remember we've just increased, so we've got another stitch there, and we're going to go into the front loop of that one with a double crochet as well, and we're going to finish off the row with a double crochet worked under both loops into the full stitch. And that's our first row done. So now we're on to a half treble row. We're going to turn. Remember to raise the loop on your hook so it doesn't curl up. Work a double crochet into that first stitch. We're going to work 2 half trebles now, 1 into the first stitch and then 1 into the next one, and we're going to finish the row off with a double crochet. So I'm quickly going to work my way through this because, like I say, it's really simple. For the row number 3, we're on to a double crochet row. Remember, we begin with a double crochet under both loops. We're going to work 2 double crochets into the front loops and then finish the row with a double crochet under both. Now we're on to our half treble row, and as we're going along you should be able to see we've got this horizontal detailing here. A good tip is that when these horizontal stripes are facing you, you should be working a half treble row. So we're going to work our double crochet, 2 half trebles, and finish the row with a double crochet. And we're halfway through the repeat now. We're going to work our double crochet at the start, 2 double crochets into the front loop only, and finish off the row with a double crochet into that full stitch. Now we're on to our half treble row. Start with a double crochet as normal, 2 half trebles, and finish with a double crochet. So that's row number 6 done. So we're coming up to our increase again. So we're going to work a double crochet row, going into those front loops there, and finishing by going under both loops with another double crochet. And we're coming up to row number 8, which marks our increase. So what we're going to do, just like before, is work a double crochet to start, and then into that next stitch we're going to work 2 half trebles into the same space. So we've got 1 and 2. We're going to work 1 half treble into the next stitch, and we're going to finish with a double crochet into that final stitch there, and that marks our row number 8. So What you need to do to continue increasing and building the scarf is to continue repeating rows number 1 to 8, and you want to do that 11 more times so that you've worked a total of 13 pattern repeats from the beginning. And once you've done that, you should find that you've got 16 stitches on this row here. So at the moment we've got 5 because we've just worked another increase. So keep on working rows 1 to 8 until you have got 16 stitches, and then you're ready to begin the second half of the scarf where you're working the decreases and working your way back down. So once you've finished working your scarf up to 16 stitches and you're ready to start the decreases, what you need to do is continue working the same repeat as before, and then on the 8th row, instead of working an increase, we're going to work a decrease, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I've just worked rows 1 to 7. So if you've not done that, just pause the video and go ahead and work those rows, and then come back when you're ready to work the 8th row. And this is what you want to be doing. So we're up to a half treble row. We're going to turn and work our double crochet into that first stitch. And then to decrease, we're going to work 2 half treble crochets together. So we yarn over and insert our hook into that first stitch, yarn over and pull through. Then instead of continuing the stitch, what we're actually going to do is yarn over once more, insert your hook into the next stitch and yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all of those loops on your hook. And you've just worked 2 stitches together and decreased there. I've got another stitch here. Obviously I'm making a really tiny version, but you'll have a few more. So what you need to do is just continue working half trebles now, just as normal, until you reach the end of the row, and then finish off by working a double crochet into that final stitch. And that completes row number 8. So just like before, you're going to continue working rows 1 to 8. And on every 8th row, instead of doing an increase, you're going to decrease by 1 stitch. So I'm going to continue and decrease this, and I'm going to show you how to finish off your scarf. I've just worked 1 more repeat and I've just completed row number 7, so I'm ready to work another decrease. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. So begin the row just as normal with a double crochet, and I'm down to 4 stitches now, so this is actually going to be my last decrease. We just need to decrease until we get back to the original number of stitches, which was 3. So in these 2 stitches here, I'm going to work a half treble together. So we yarn over and insert our hook into that first stitch, yarn over and pull through. But again, instead of completing that, we're going to yarn over and work into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all of those loops on the hook. And we're going to finish off the row with a double crochet. So once you've reached 3 stitches, as I'm back down to now, you've actually completed all of the decreases. To finish off that scarf, obviously this is a really tiny example, but you can see if I fold it in half, it's not quite there. What you need to do to finish is work another 8 repeats, but on the last row, the 8th repeat, you don't need to do anything. We're not increasing or decreasing. You just work the 8th row as normal, and then it's just a case of cutting the yarn and pulling it through and sewing in the ends. So I hope that was helpful for you and that you enjoyed the tutorial. I would love to see your finished projects. You can tag me on Instagram with those, or you can pop them on the project page on Ravelry so I can take a look. But I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else, any other tutorials that you'd like to see from me in the future, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone, take care.